Ladies and gentlemen, as Vice Chair and in the absence of our Madam President, I will call the Tuesday, February 5, 2019 meeting of the Board of Directors of the Greater Dayton RTA to order. Would invite everybody to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Stanforth, could you please read the roll?
Yes, sir. Mr. Williamson.
Present. Usually at the end.
Mr. Corrado. Ms. Hurd.
Here.
Mr. Hoagie. Ms. Howard.
Present.
Mr. Lumpkin. Ms. Matthew Stinson.
Here.
Mr. Weckerser.
Here.
Thank you.
I will note following the roll call that we do have a quorum. The agenda for this afternoon's meeting was distributed to all board members prior to today, and I would ask at this point in time if anyone has any corrections, additions, or deletions. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved. I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Any abstentions? Motion passes. The agenda is approved. The meeting minutes of the January 3rd, 2019 board meeting were also distributed to all board members prior to today's meeting. And again, I will ask if any board member has any additions, deletions, revisions, or comments about same. Hearing none, the board chair will exercise its prerogative to accept the minutes as presented. Next item on the agenda is Mr. Donahue for presentation to Greater Dayton RTA Life Essentials Employee Benefit Fund.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Acting President, Vice President. Every year, I think the board is aware, we have an event during the Christmas season. It's primarily targeted at our employees. But each year, our Employee Benefit Fund, whose president is in the corner over there, Kathy Garner, actually runs the Employee Benefit Fund with an iron fist, I'm told. And they do a lot of great things year-round, but the Christmas event is a big one. Each year, the Benefit Fund group, the committee, selects a local not-for-profit or charity to help out because it's a great thing to do during the season. This year, they selected Life Essentials, and I think we kind of knocked the socks off the event this year.
Excuse the
Okay, enough of that. That was for Frank Eckler. But today we have with us Julie Crusenberry from Life Essentials, and she'd like to say a few words to the board and to our friends at EBF.
Thank you, Mr. Donahue. Life Essentials is, we have programs in the community, a nonprofit that professionally delivers intensive advocacy and recovery-oriented programs to enhance the quality of life for local vulnerable adults. We have two major programs, our guardianship program and the CHUMS program. And the Guardians, we serve anywhere from 300 on up per year, and we have social workers, professional social workers that take care of that program. When the probate court has deemed someone incompetent, then they contact us and we have a guardian placed with them. And we started a few years ago doing a socks campaign, a socks drive, because we wanted to give these folks a Christmas gift. They're alone and they don't have family members to celebrate the holiday with like each of us do. And so we have always given them a bag full of socks. And I can't tell you how many smiles those socks bring to these people that need the care that Life Essentials provides to them. And this year, RTA knocked the socks off of these people because we collected nearly 6,000 pairs of socks. Last year, it was a little over 3,000. So when RTA said that they wanted to do this with their employees, we were just delighted. And so we appreciate, Kathy, your willingness to participate. We gave our 7 pair to each one of our clients, and then we gave 250 pair to each of 6 nursing homes that have a high Medicaid level of residency. And so we were able to share them with nursing homes. Then we had an even more amount in January, and so we did a presentation to the Veterans Administration. So veterans are also benefiting from the sock drive. So thank you so much for your participation. We can't, we just can't thank you enough. Thank you so much. You really socked it to them.
Oh, look at that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you, Kathy, for spearheading that. Greatly appreciated. All right, let's get on with the committee reports. Planning Committee, Sharon Howard.
Thank you. The Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committees met for a jointly held meeting on January 15th, and as a result, the Planning Committee is recommending 2 action items for the board's consideration. Action item number 2, February 2019 service modifications. As a result of the annual $4.2 million loss of Medicaid managed care sales tax revenue, RTA's 2019 operating budget has been dramatically impacted. In response, the Chief Executive Officer and Chief Customer and Business Development Officer worked to identify operational adjustments to deal with the current projected shortfall in order to work towards a balanced budget in 2019. These operational adjustments have resulted in proposed service modifications. The final proposed modifications were determined based on review of all public comments received, analysis of ridership on routes, specific trips, time periods experiencing lower ridership, and duplicative service coverage. Maintaining basic geographic service coverage and late-night service were also priorities in the final design of the service modifications. Mr. Polachicchio provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in today's board package. Mr. Polachicchio is available to answer any questions you may have. Hearing none, and based upon the recommendation of the Planning Committee, I move to approve the proposed February 2019 service modifications to be implemented on February 17, 2019, and that the Chief Executive Officer be authorized to carry out all actions necessary to make these changes.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hurd. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Action item number 3, RTA Connect On-Demand Operating Budget. On August 7, 2018, the Greater Dayton RTA Board of Trustees approved amendments to the RTA Connect On-Demand Mobility Partnership Pilot Program. Amendments included changes to the program structure and extension of the program for an additional year. Due to the current projected shortfall in the 2019 operating budget, the Chief Executive Officer and Chief Customer and Business Development Officer again worked to identify operational adjustments in order to work towards a balanced budget in 2019. These operational adjustments resulted in a service modification. Within the recommended service modifications is the expansion of the Connect On-Demand program into 4 service zones. Expansion of the program will create mobility access for those customers who may be impacted by the 2019 service modifications, as well as increased access to existing customers. In addition, due to the February 2019 service modifications, the Connect On Demand program operating budget is projected to remain neutral due to service modifications that will be supplemented by the program. Mr. Polachicchio provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is in today's board package. Mr. Polachicchio is available to answer any questions you may have. Hearing none, and based upon the recommendation of the Planning Committee, I move to approve a 2-year, $600,000 total operating budget for the RTA Connect On Demand Mobility Pilot Program, and that the Chief Executive Officer be authorized to carry out all actions necessary to make these changes, including following procurement procedures where warranted.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Stenson. Any further questions or comments?
Just to note the total dollar amount that's being approved.
Total dollar amount is $600,000. That clarification having been made, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Any abstentions? Motion carries.
That concludes our action items, but we do have a couple of general updates. In addition, at the committee meeting, Mr. Polachicchio provided a summary document of recent activities in the Customer and Business Development Department. Ohio Loves Transit Day will take place on Valentine's Day, February 14th, and will include free rides for customers who use RTA's texting app. This day falls in line with several other legislative advocacy efforts meant to drive more support for the public transit system statewide. The Communication Department also launched several Black History Month initiatives. These include reserving a seat on every bus in honor of Rosa Parks and a new mural at Right Stop Plaza featuring Black Americans who have made significant contributions to our history but whose stories are not as well known. This concludes my report, Mr. Vice President, and Mr. Polachicchio and I are available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Howard. We're now going to turn to the Finance and Personnel Committee, and it falls upon me to give that report in Mr. Lumpkin's absence, because he asked me to, so I'll do it for him. As Ms. Howard indicated, the Finance Personnel Committee met as part of the jointly held committee meetings on January 15, and there are 3 action items for the board's consideration. Action item number 4 is resolution number 2019-2-1, Urban Public Transportation Grant Program applications. The Ohio Department of Transportation provides financial assistance to public transportation systems in Ohio through the Ohio Urban Public Transportation Grant Program. Current funding opportunities are offered under the Urban Formula Program and the Preservation Partnership Program. The RTA intends to use state-awarded funds for preventive maintenance or other capital projects based on budget need. Because of the state fiscal year, July 1 through June 30, eligible projects can be selected from either the RTA's 2019 or 2020 list of eligible projects. Historically, RTA has applied under the Urban Transit Program, as well as the Ohio Transit Preservation Partnership Program. In addition, we have applied for funding under some Ohio EPA programs, which are open to Ohio public transit systems. Other funding opportunities may arise and will be considered for application based on program requirements and current need. Mr. Rosinski provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in today's board package. Mr. Rosinski is available to answer any questions the board may have at this time. Hearing none, and based upon the recommendation of the Finance Personnel Committee, I move that the Board of Trustees approve Resolution Number 2019-2-1, Urban Public Transportation Grant Program applications.
I don't know that you can make a motion, so I think you're requesting a motion, in which case I move.
I can't hear.
Recommendation from the committee.
What she said.
Counsel?
I think that the past practice of this board has been to follow the procedure, that the one reading the report does not make the motion.
As opposed to the chair, not necessarily the person reading the report.
I would follow the past practice, although you're acting chair.
Right.
So I would suggest someone else make it.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Stenson, a second by Mr. Weckesser. Any further questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item number 5, Resolution 2019-2-2, Federal Grant Applications. 49 United States Code 5307 authorizes grants to public transit systems in urbanized areas for capital operating and planning assistance based on formulas used in the statute. 49 U.S.C. 5337 and 5339 authorize grants to public transit systems in urbanized areas for capital assistance to support and maintain fixed guideway assets and other capital assets in a state of good repair. The Greater Dayton RTA can use this funding for the purchase of electric trolley buses, modernization of trolley infrastructure, the capitalization of maintenance costs, and other supporting facilities and equipment projects, as well as to maintain capital assets in a state of good repair. These funds are based on formulas used in the statute. 49 U.S.C. 5310 provides funds to the region to support projects that serve the elderly and disabled. Resolution number 2019-2-2 gives authorization to file fiscal year 2019 U.S.C. Section 5307, 5337, 5339, 5310, and other federal capital assistance grants. Mr. Rosinski provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in today's board package. Mr. Rosinski is available to answer any questions the board may have at this time. Hearing none, I will entertain a motion based on the recommendation of the Finance Personnel Committee that the Board of Trustees approve Resolution number 2019-2-2, the federal grant applications.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Action item number 6, resolution number 2019-2-3, Washington Street temporary easement. The City of Dayton, working in conjunction with ODOT, is planning to rebuild parts of Washington Street along existing RTA property. The property is the recently fenced lot under US 35 and is currently used for vehicle storage. The city has proposed a 12-month temporary easement for a small strip along the northern edge of RTA's property. They have prepared this resolution, and ODOT requests action from this board. The compensation to RTA is $403, and granting of the temporary easement is not expected to have an adverse impact on RTA operations. RTA is working closely with all parties on this project, as Washington Street is a major access road, and RTA needs to reroute buses and adjust some operations as part of the larger project. Mr. Rosinski provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in today's board package. Mr. Rosinski is available to answer any questions the board may have at this time. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion that, based upon the recommendation of the Finance Personnel Committee, the Board of Trustees approve Resolution number 2019-2-3, the Washington Street temporary easement.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Stenson,
Second.
second by Ms. Howard. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Any abstentions? Motion carries. There are no further action items from the Finance Personnel Committee, but some additional items to mention. At the meeting, Ms. Stanforth reported the October 2018 sales tax receipts equal to $3,072,125 and State of Ohio transitional aid of $172,957. This grand total of $3,245,082 reflects a 2.9% or $95,000 decrease versus October 2017. This decrease is actually good news, is that we are up $56,000 versus the October 2018 budget. Year-to-date, October 2018 sales tax receipts equal $31,165,816, and State of Ohio transitional aid $3,617,200. The year-to-date grand total of $34,783,016 reflects a 2.9% or $95,000 decrease versus October 2017 year-to-date. As compared to year-to-date budget for 2018, we are up $428,000, a positive variance. And this concludes Mr. Lumpkin's report. Next item on the agenda is the Chief Executive Officer's report.
Thank you, Dave. Just a couple informational items. I'm going to add one to the Washington Street easement since we have the Miami Valley Bike Guru in the house. The Washington Street project includes a bike lane, and that's part of the reason that this easement is necessary. So, you know, we're all in on bikes, Laura, just so you know that. That's great. So a couple things that are going on right now, and especially this month, we'll be quite busy. Spending time in Columbus doing, I will say, advocating on transit's behalf. We've got the biennium budget happening. The new governor's got to get his version of that out, and obviously we want to make sure that our voice is heard during that time. We've got what we're calling basically transit lobby days on the 12th and 13th. We're going to spend 2 days in Columbus, making sure we reach out to not only our own local legislators, but others at that time. And then Sharon mentioned earlier, Ohio Loves Transit Day. It's becoming an annual event, but I think we've got to throw a rose at our marketing department. All of the marketing materials statewide are really ours. They were designed by our folks and were shared through our association and will be used in every transit system in the state of Ohio. So good work, marketing team. Great job. And I just want you to know there's been some media coverage on the, well, we'll call it the gas tax issue here within the state, and a lot of debate going on. I can assure you that a day does not go by that I'm not involved in some part of that discussion, and that's going to go on and on and on. The governor's committee is actually having a hearing today that's a closed door, and then tomorrow there's another, and then their report is due next week. It's an amazing speed for a blue ribbon commission. But I can tell you we've been actively involved in conversations with the governor's office, with the speaker's office, and others about where, you know, this is going to head down the road. We're still a long ways from where everyone wants it to be, but that's something obviously we'll be working on constantly until it's done. And with that, unless there are questions, I have no further items to report.
Thank you, Mark. Is there any old business to come before the board? Hearing none, I will ask if there's any new business to come before the board. The chair was not provided with any applications for public comment. I will ask staff, were there any made coming in?
No, sir.
Thank you. Since there are none, I will now solicit board member comments or announcements, if any. We'll start down with Ms. Howard and move this way.
Nothing to report.
I have nothing to do that, thanks.
No comments.
My only comment is to follow up on what Mark said. I heard Representative householder in an interview this morning on WISO, and it's still that wrong-headed view. His comment was, well, we got to bake the cake, and if we have any icing left over, then transit might get something. So if you could please direct our lobbyists to give him a call, more than one call, then
We had a conversation with him yesterday, and I think the other thing we're going to do is make sure the people who voted for him, who are not all from his party, are supporting
right.
our causes.
Very good. Ms. Hurd?
Two comments. I would like to commend the employees for their participation in the employee benefit fund. That's an extra way to give back to the community. And number two, I'd like to commend our marketing department for making it easy for the rest of the state to celebrate. That's it.
It's very good. Thank you. There is no need for, nor have I received a request for any executive session today. I would remind the board that our next committee meetings, the Investment Advisory Committee meets February 14, and the jointly held Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committee meetings on February 19, and we are scheduled to meet again here for our next board meeting on March 5. With those announcements and reminders, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Moved by Ms. Stenson, second by Ms. Hurd. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Any abstentions? We are adjourned.